on kind of the stereotype of culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when you watch all these Bruce Lee movies and all this other stuff, and I think that's what Bruce Lee really tried to do was kind of universalize the martial arts and what it was doing and stuff like that. So, you know, when you have characters like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
Yes.
or Chuck Norris, you know, and everybody like the movie, you're like, wow, you know, you just it becomes something that for the industry, like we're finally kind of a part of in that sense too. There's no disconnect because, you know, look, all the kids are playing the same sandbox kind of deal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what that movie kind of did, you know, because you kind of followed in Bruce Lee's footsteps, played homage to, and kind of culturalized, you know, their movie, you know, with the blend of all kinds of different things.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So the big news, Wolverine. You got to tell me how this came about.
Oh yeah, yeah, Wolverine. That small little movie that you know maybe I don't think possibly. No, it's epic, man. You know, it was one of those kind of dream come trues, and I am admittedly so a fanboy, you know, and a geekhead myself, and I grew up on comic books, and I remember going like to my local comic store every Tuesday to try to get my hands on the newest one. And yes, X-Men were my favorite team, and Wolverine was my guy. Like I used to be Wolverine for Halloween as a kid, and make my own like cardboard cutout with aluminum foil wrap adamantium claws kind of deal. So you know, the journey to get this particular part was an interesting one. You know, they've been casting this thing for a really long time. You know, 2 years kind of in the making, because it kind of started and then stopped and then started and then stopped. And, you know, I would always go in for a particular character. And then kind of on the 11th hour, they called me in to actually read for a completely different character in the role that I got, which is Nobuto Mori, which came to me as a surprise, but, you know, because the stars aligned and everything kind of seemed to fit in place, and you know, the powers that be had the wherewithal, the creativity to be like, yeah, Brian could please that guy.
Sure.
You know, I was fortunate enough to get it.
And this is going to be one of those. I mean, we could argue that this is sort of that big transition role for you too, right? In many ways, where it's going to take you to the next level.
I hope so. You know, everyone talks about, you know, the next level or the breakthrough and all this other stuff, and you know, not just for me, but I think for everybody. You know, it's kind of this assumed kind of staple, like once a giant movie hits, just discovered kind of deal. Sure. Whereas, you know, in the back of our minds, we're like, well, we've been slugging it out for 15 years.
Exactly.
You know, that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm, sure.
So, you know, I hope that it kind of, because of the size of the movie, you know, propels me to, quote unquote, the next level per se. But for me, you know, I think just the consistency and the joy that I have and the blessings that I have to be just kind of a consistent actor.
Sure.
You know, kind of working and being able to do this for my career, because not a lot of people can. I just feel so blessed and just so happy to kind of be a part of it. You know, and fingers crossed that it does, but if it doesn't, you know, I'm not completely hurt about it, because I know I can consistently continue my craft and continue to develop and continue to do what I love to do.
Sure.
You know, so, and I feel also in this business, there's no rules, you know, and there's no like map or game plan per se.
Right.
You know, that if this thing happens, you will be here. If this thing happens, you'll be here. You know, I think it's kind of all kind of a crapshoot, and hopefully with this movie, you know, I hit the big winner, and if not, it's all good. You know, as long as I'm still playing the game, I'm happy.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, surely you must have like, you know, this is going to be an awesome film, right? But I mean, surely you must have like some pet projects you've been cultivating over the years that, you know, you're trying to get off the ground too, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think as an actor, but then as an artist in this industry, I feel that I can kind of take the other avenues of my artistic endeavors with the help of being an actor in this movie.
Sure.
because being a part of such a giant tentpole kind of movie does come with its benefits,
Sure.
and if I'm able to say parlay on being a part of it and then going back and being like, well, I just wrote this project, or I would love to be a part of that project, or, something where I can kind of even extend my talents even further, that's like a double bonus for me. And yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It will only help with the growingness of what I want to do as far as me as an artist in this industry.
Sure. And then on the new Wolverine, so I'm actually I was a long I mean I'm a fan. I've been a long time fan of Jim Mangold, going back to his indie days, right? So,
Right.
so what was it like to work with him?
Jim's awesome. Jim's one of the funniest, jolliest guys that I've come across. But when working, like it's a fun, light set, but yet he knows exactly what he wants and needs.
Sure.
And what I loved when I came onto the project was, it was James Mangold, and he takes, I feel, character into a whole new developmental light, and especially with this being like a comic book Wolverine giant, to the character, to the story, and everything like that, kind of putting, both elements together to become even greater than what it is.
Sure.
Kind of deal. So Jim was amazing in his element, and I think for all of us, we were just happy to be on his ship,
Sure.
And he was the captain and running it, and and we're all hands on deck, so it was amazing.
Well, and that brings up a good point too, because they say great directors don't actually direct, right? They just let the artist do their thing, and if they don't like it, then they'll comment. So, I mean, is that his working process for you, or I mean, how did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I guess for my experience with James, he knows exactly what he wants and exactly what he needs, and will help you get there. And he'll do 3 takes, or he'll do 103 takes.
Sure.
But he won't stop until he knows he has it. But
Right.
On the flip side, because sometimes he does do 3 takes and he's out, he knows exactly what he wants and needs.
Sure.
Because I feel like the movie's already done in his head, and whatever he's capturing on camera with you and what he needs to actually tell the story, to actually, get what he needs in this particular scene. And that kind of trust of knowing for a director and an actor relationship is, bar none, probably the best thing they can do. Because for me as an actor, if I have complete trust in a director, and I do with Jim, like, it was, for me, very easy, to take direction from him, because I know this is what he wants, and I know exactly what he wants. If I don't know exactly what he wants, I know that he knows what he wants, and we'll get there.
Sure.
No matter what. So having that kind of trust element was so amazing, so completely amazing. And I knew at the end of the day, no matter how we kind of got there, I know that we got it.
Right, right.
And that's what you want as an actor. You want to be able to go home at night and be like, done, got it, moving on, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was such an amazing experience.
So for this new Wolverine film? So what do you think you brought to this character that was, because obviously you've got a script, right? So you've got the character's lines, but what do you think you brought to this character outside of what was in the written page?
Outside of the written page, what I hoped to show and to kind of bring was, and it may not play in the movie, I mean, what you bring to the table doesn't always make the cutting room floor. But just another element that there was a reason why Noboru Mori is the way that he is.
Okay.
Almost to try to kind of humanize him. And his reasons you may not agree with, but at least, they're coming from a place where that he's definitely connected to.
Sure.
I hope I don't seem as vague as possible because I know I'm not supposed to say certain things, specifically about character and stuff. But I would say that I felt a human quality and a life to Nobuto Mori that I hope plays in the movie. And you can either kind of love him or hate him kind of deal, but at least, he's a guy that you kind of understand.
Sure, yeah. And that's interesting because I remember when the last Wolverine film came out a few years ago, and I remember it was sort of leaked, right? Well, it wasn't leaked, but I mean, there was, an early advanced version of the film out on the internet with some of the special effects not in place.
Right.
Are you guys conscious of those things while you're making a film like this? And also, how does something like that affect, how does it affect the final film, if at all? That comes out in theaters.
Well, I think individually, if you're a fan like I am of movies and Marvel movies and just X-Men in general and, everything that has kind of been done in the past, like I've seen them all. So I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't influenced by them. And then, this being the origin story, of Wolverine and kind of an offshoot of one of his kind of origins of where he started from, it kind of separated the two.
Okay.
Because I felt like we are a story on its own within the given world of Wolverine and X-Men. Sure. So for me, specifically with Nobuto Mori, it didn't quite, connect or matter. I played Nobuto Mori in this element within these given circumstances. The filmmakers per se, I guess they would have to, that would be my guess. The influences of movies in the past, what worked and what didn't work, and, kind of learning from that and making it bigger and better. And then the experiences that you have as an individual, I know James has done some amazing, great things, and to bring all of those elements to the movie as well, I think just kind of propels it to something that I feel the audience will definitely love and enjoy and really, really connect with that they may or may not have, in previous movies.
Cool. And I just have one more for you. So, considering that we've seen this Wolverine movie a few years ago, and it's so great. And of course we have this trailer, right, for this new one. It's got this big train fight. It looks like a lot of sort of badass sword play at a temple. So, being part of the new one and having seen the old one, what can fans truly expect from this one? Will it be, a larger scale than the previous one? Will it be there'll be more character development? I mean, what can we expect?
Bigger, badder, and better. Absolutely. I think you nailed them all. There'll be so much more character development and so much more depth. And I feel like you can connect to Wolverine because I feel like it's the first time that he's ever been kind of really vulnerable, both physically and emotionally, and he has to kind of fight this endless struggle against himself, and then finally embrace who he is.
Sure.
So that much depth in Wolverine within Logan, like you've never kind of seen before.
Sure.
Along with it being bigger and badder as far as, the stunts and the things that, the stunt coordinators come up with and James has come up with and what Hugh's doing and everything like that. I mean, it's going to be visually amazing. I mean, the set pieces are bar none like the biggest ones I've ever seen, and this is going to be like the action-packed, like amazingness that I feel kind of, if you're going to compare it to the others, kind of goes beyond.
Cool.
For me.
I thought of one more too. I wanted to ask you, and that's so do you think we'll have a Brian action figure, and how will that affect your ego?
That would be amazing. That would be, I don't know. That would be awesome. That would be amazing. How would it affect my ego?
That's right.
I'd probably have 100 of them, like running around, seriously, my house, all in different poses, and probably just like like I'm a little boy. I don't know.
Awesome.
I have no idea, but that would be awesome. You know what's funny is when I did Fast, Tokyo Drift, they did have my car, you know, that I